hello everyone, and here we are, healing you with Gloria. And I'm here with Gloria. I'm Gloria's co-host. My name's Gail Donahue. And today, Gloria has something really interesting to share with us. It's a story that you had mentioned to me that you came across from scripture, and you have an interesting take on how it can show us some illumination about our lives. So, Gloria, would you please share this story with us?
Yeah, it's many people are familiar with it. It was traditionally called the prodigal son. And I'm going to refer to it as the prodigal child because it refers to all people. And the truth of the matter is, in the story, there's a father and he has two sons. So in our story, there's a parent that has two children. So those three different individuals actually represent parts of ourselves that we can begin to recognize, or aspects of ourselves, or propensities of ourselves. And so as the story goes, the parent has two children. One of the children decides, I don't want to work so hard. I don't want to do all these things we are supposed to be doing here. I want to just go off and live my life. And so I want my inheritance now. And so the parent was like, well, I really didn't want him to go, but gave them their inheritance. They took off and they didn't hear from him again. The other child stayed there and was very hardworking, really paid attention to what needed to be done, and worked closely with the parent to have life go well for them. Well, down the road, then all of a sudden, this child that had gone off had gone through all of their resources. They were not living a good life at all. And they realized, wow, if I was at home with my parent, my life would be really different. And they had some remorse. They really wanted to just be home. They didn't have any kind of conditions that they put upon what it was going to look like when they got there. They just wanted to come home and be there. And when they traveled and they got home, the parents saw them and was so overjoyed because they thought they had died because they hadn't heard from them. Mm. And so they welcomed him and just showered him with love and wanted to throw a big party for him, celebrate. My child is back. My child was lost and now is found. Well, the other child got angry about that, was not happy about it at all. It didn't seem like it was fair. They had stayed home and they had really worked hard, and the parent hadn't thrown them any big party or anything like that. And so they confronted the parent. Why are you doing this? This isn't fair. And the parent was like, oh, don't you see? Your sibling was lost and now they're found. They're alive. They're here. And that was like the big potent story about that, is like, that's so important to celebrate when somebody comes back to life. Mm. They get lost on their journey. They get caught up in what they think they're supposed to be doing or whatever. And they come back and they're like, no, this is what life's about. And so those are three aspects. We can all recognize pretty readily the part of us that goes rogue, or the part of us that believes we're supposed to be a certain way, and that we've got to do these things in order to be anybody. We can also recognize the part of us that we're going to do the right thing. We are going to be the good child. We're going to be the good person. We're going to take the high road. We can also recognize, and this was much more subtle, that this good part of us, it's a good part of us, right? We're going to go good, bad. And that's the culture we are raised in, whatever country we're in. There's a good part and a bad part. And yet that good part, when the other one came home, it had this little sly, slippery slope that it went in. It revealed that it had some kind of a hidden agreement with the parent that the parent didn't have know anything about.
The parent had no attachment to this hidden agreement, but there it was.
Yeah, just thought that they were just doing what they were doing because they wanted to, not because they thought they were going to get something for it. And so it can be these ways that we can have these hidden parts. And what came to my attention just the other day was that this actually shows the oscillating pattern that we have in our lives. And the oscillating pattern is we want something, and then we get stuck in these patterns of how we've been that draws us away from it. So remember that rubber band where we would go back and forth. I want to be a good person and do all these wonderful things. And then the tension would get strong. And then we'd go back down the slippery slope of not following through, of not doing what we said we were going to do. And then when we come over there, then this voice can actually sound like the voice that's like, I can't believe you're doing that again, because that's actually what was happening in the child that stayed home. They are going to be that good child, right? And they're going to, so they're beating themselves up if it represents the same person. How could you do that again? You're not supposed to do that. I thought you were over that already. It's been so long. You're not better off now than you were 5 years ago. I mean, they can sound so many different ways. I can't believe you gained 2 more pounds. And just whatever it is. And so there's this oscillation that happens. But this other part that's represented by the parent, so the parent actually represents our essential self, our spirit, our soul, our higher self, that recognizes this yo-yoing that's going on and recognizes the patterns that have created that and loves them anyway. It's strong. It's got deep roots, that tree of life. It does not falter.
It doesn't fall into the good or bad, right or wrong judgment. It's seeing the essence of when you talk about the tree of looking at the pure love.
Yeah.
Unconditional love.
Yeah, that's the tree of life. It grows out there in Rumi's field. That field, out there beyond right and wrong. I'll meet you there. We're welcomed home. When we truly have the second chance at life, we recognize that's a completely different paradigm. It's like we realize, oh my gosh, I was so lost and now I'm found. Now I can step into being who I was created to be, and I can create that world. And it's astonishing. It's some of the clients I've been talking with recently, the experiences they're having as they step into this field of Rumi, and they experience the difference that it is. It doesn't matter if you like who you were or not. That has nothing to do with when you come into your heart and you acknowledge what you really love. It just achieves you at a cellular level.
Yeah, I'm really hearing from your story and what you're explaining here, Gloria, that we don't have to make something wrong in order for us to go after something we love. It can just exist and be there.
Well, we can recognize the truth of it.
The truth of it. Yeah. Yeah. Well, gosh, that seems to me it brings a lot more freedom and ease as you say that.
Yeah. Well, there's a story that I can share later about how this showed up in my own life, because I know it helps sometimes to have an actual example of that.
Yeah.
And so maybe we can have a conversation next time.
Yeah, let's do that then, Gloria. Let's hear about your story related to this framework that you've just provided today. And in the meantime, maybe people can just have this, just sit in their head about this story about the prodigal child and this opportunity of, looking at coming back to something that you love and just welcoming it and not making anything else wrong or bad.
Yeah, practice making an observation of what is actually here and what do I really love, and how do these 3 different aspects show up in my own life.
Yeah, great. Okay, well, till next time, we'll see everybody at our next session. Bye for now.
Thanks, Gail.